Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the virtual public information meeting for state project numbers 22-107 and 22-108. The placement of bridge number 4600 on Woodchuck Hill Road over Little River, and replacement of bridge number 5413 Tracy Road over Kitt Brook in the town of Canterbury. Next slide, please. This is a quick slide on how to access closed captions in Zoom. There's a button below for show captions, and you can click a different speaking language from the list shown. Closed captioning, including non-English translation options, will be available on YouTube after the event. This is a quick slide on how to use the Zoom Q&A, which we'll be using to interact with the project team following the formal presentations. You can enter your question into the chat, and a member of the project team will be able to answer the question for you. If you're an audio-only participant, please dial *9 to raise and lower your hand. My name is Mark Burns. I'm the project manager for the Department of Transportation's Local Bridge Program in the Consult Design Unit, and this is my contact information. The goals for tonight's meeting will be to interact with the project team, explain the federal local bridge programs design managed by state or DMS program. We'll have welcoming remarks by the town of Canterbury's first selectman. We'll have introductions of the project team. And then we'll have a formal presentation of the design progress, which will include explaining the condition of the existing bridge and define the purpose and need. And we will present a recommendation of their viable proposals. Please bear in mind that these design plans are only 30% complete, and we still have a very long way to go in the process. Following the presentations, there'll be an open forum for your questions. During the Q&A session, here is how you can contact us: by email at dot.flbp@ct.gov, by phone at 860-594-2020, which is a modern voicemail line, or in the Zoom Q&A during the event. We also encourage you to access the project webpage for additional information. Please note that the comment period is open until July 31st, 2024. I will now read this slide regarding Title VI Civil Rights. No person shall, on the basis of race, color, or national origin, be excluded from participation or subject to discrimination in the development of this project. We highly encourage you to fill out the voluntary post-meeting survey located at the hyperlink and QR code shown. There's also a link to access civil rights information from the Department's Office of Equity. Recording this presentation will be posted on YouTube after the event, and closed captioning, including non-English translation options, are available on Zoom and YouTube. This is another slide regarding Title VI Civil Rights. This project is funded under the Federal Local Bridge Program's Design Managed by State, or DMS program. In the past, under the program, the towns would be responsible for administering design, rights of way, and construction, and there'd be 80% federal funds and 20% town match. Under the DMS, design, rights of way, and construction phases are now funded with a minimum of 80% federal and a maximum of 20% state funds, which will be a 100% grant or participation, and there'll be no cost to the towns for any phase of the project. And with this, the department will take over the design on behalf of the town. Now, even though the department is taking over the design, it's still full partnership with the town, and we coordinate with them at every project milestone. The goals of the DMS program will provide a streamlined approach to design using full DOT resources, and to aid the towns in keeping their bridges in a state of good repair, to decrease typical design time from 60 months plus to 24 to 36 months, and when applicable, to utilize accelerated bridge construction or ABC techniques to shorten construction duration, and to increase the number of municipal projects delivered in each construction season. I'll now turn it over to the town first selectman, Christopher Lipke, for some opening remarks.
Thank you, Mark, and I'd like to thank you and your team from Connecticut DOT. I think about 2 years ago, when you first approached the town on this project, I was enthused with the thought of getting two bridges replaced at no cost to the town. I mean, both these bridges have year over year been been reported as being more and more deficient. And so to get these replaced and to get two new bridges in place that'll serve our town is I think is at no cost is a great project, great opportunity for us to take care of work that we really would have a tough time taking on ourselves. So I'm looking forward to hearing what the rest of your presentation and working with you in the near future.
Great. Thank you very much, Chris. I'll now introduce the rest of our project team. Our division chief of bridges is Martin Sweeney. Principal engineer of the consultant design unit is Derek Broussard. As I said, I'm Mark Burns, project manager. Jeff Organic is the project engineer. From the Office of Rights of Way is Zachary Garino. And representing Close Jensen and Miller, or CJM, who's the department's consultant liaison engineer, is Jim Playtosh, project manager, and Andy Shepard, project engineer. This is a brief slide showing key structural elements of the bridge. On the top, you'll see the bridge deck, which is what the driving surface or walking or bicycling surface is. Preventing any pedestrians, vehicles, or bikes from hazards are the parapets. Supporting the deck and parapets is the bridge superstructure. And in this case, in the slide is steel beams. Supporting the bridge superstructure are the abutments, as shown. The abutments then carry load into the ground through the substructure, which will also have whether it be a spread footing or a pile support. And depending on the span length, there'll be a singular pier or multiple piers. And also for earth retention, you will see wing wells. Bridges are inspected on a biennial basis and are given a condition rating on a scale of 1 to 9 based on the key elements, with 9 being in excellent condition and 1 being an imminent failure. But at any point, if the Office of Bridge Safety feels that there is a need for corrective action, they will inform the town as soon as possible. This is another view of the structural elements. In this case, the bridge is a precast rigid frame, but we wanted to highlight different substructure elements, including steel piles that would be drilled into existing rock when needed, depending on the scour condition of the bridge. This slide depicts some different examples of concrete deterioration. Efflorescence is a condition or chemical reaction with water and chemicals inside of concrete, which causes the white substance to be shown on the surface. Thank you. As the next slide of honeycombing is as a result of poor setup of concrete. And when the forms are removed, there'll be, if voids were present, it will create that condition. Scaling is a result of freeze thaw and wear, where there's a little too much water setting up and then causes the concrete to deteriorate. Map cracking is another situation where there's infiltration of water, which is resulting during freeze thaw expansion cracking. And a more severe type of cracking is concrete spalling. And in this case, the surface of the concrete has been exposed to the steel reinforcement underneath. I'm going to turn over to Andy Shepard for the formal presentation. Andy?
Perfect. Thank you, Mark. Hi, everyone. My name is Andy Shepard, and I'm project engineer for Close Jensen and Miller. And we'll go over project 4600 first, and then we'll move on to the other bridge and obviously follow up with some questions. So this bridge is located about 60 feet east of Hanover Road and 180 feet west of Cemetery Road, and is functionally classified as a rural local road. Here's just some aerial views. All the surrounding properties here are very residential. Existing conditions here, the bridge was built in 1900, but rebuilt in 1946 and consists of a steel multi-girder superstructure on concrete capped stone abutments and wing walls. Structure has a 38-foot total structure length with a 33-foot clear span and a 24.5-foot curb to curb width. We have some galvanized metal beam guide rail and also tubular bridge rail. And average daily traffic on this bridge is about 1,178 vehicles per day. We do have some utilities here as well. There's overhead electric communication and cable television that span the structure on the south side. The deck here is in poor condition with a rating of 4, and the approach is in satisfactory with a rating of 6. We have some damage to the wearing surface with areas of cracking, and the beam rail also has some damage to it. The superstructure is in poor condition with a rating of 4. The bearings here are all rusted and have gaps in them, and the girders are also heavily rusted, some with some pretty severe section loss to them. The substructure here is in good condition with a rating of 7. The abutments you can see are masonry abutments with concrete seats, but there is evidence of deck leakage and also some minor cracking. There's also some random spalling and cracking on the abutment seats as well, and in between the joints, the mortar joints. Channel has a rating of 7 and scour is noted as 5. The channel bed consists mainly of sand and various sized stones. The water depth is typically shallower upstream than downstream, and there's minor undercutting at the embankments, and there's also some pretty heavy vegetation growth. For this bridge, we are proposing a full replacement with astro concrete box beam superstructure on micropile supported integral abutments. Gosh, sorry about that. This would consist of a single 54-foot clear span on reinforced concrete abutments on piles. There'd be a 29.5-foot out-to-out width and a 26-foot curb-to-curb width, consisting of 11-foot travel lanes and 2-foot shoulders. We'll have open metal bridge rail on the bridge and membrane waterproofing, and obviously the bituminous concrete overlay. We'll have new approach slabs and new guide rail that's up to standards, and there will be some temporary relocation of all utilities for the duration of construction. So just for some perspective, this is an elevation view of the proposed project, which shows the bridge as if you're in the water looking right at the structure. The new bridge railing is shown here in yellow. The box beams are shown in orange. The wing walls are in pink. The new abutments and deck are in gray, and then the micropiles you can see in brown. Again, a different view. The cross section shows as if we slice through the structure while we're standing on top of it. The bridge railing, again, shown in yellow. The wearing surface in black. The deck is in gray, and then you can see the box beams in orange again. We have the plan view, so it shows the entirety of the affected area for this project. The existing pavement is shown in gray, and that won't be touched. The roadway that's being reconstructed is shown in yellow. The wing walls here are in pink, and then this proposed structure here is in orange. We have the roadway profile here, so the profile and the alignment really won't be changing much here at all. These are just some examples of what the bridge could look like, just to give you a viewpoint of what we're looking at. We are proposing a detour here of about 4 miles, and it would include Hanover Road, Woodchuck Hill Road, and John Brook Road. Anticipated permits here, we're anticipating a local inland wetland, Army Corps of Engineers, and a flood management commission permit. Schedule and cost, we're looking at beginning construction in spring of 2026 and have 1 construction season, so about 6 to 8 months. And the estimated cost here is about $2,095,000. All right, so now we'll move on to the next bridge, is Bridge 5413, which is Tracy Road over Kitt Brook. Project location here, we're located about half a mile south of the intersection with Westminster Road or Route 14. It's functionally classified as a rural local road. Again, aerial view, we have just some pretty residential properties here. The existing structure was built in 1928 and then rebuilt in 1986. It's a timber deck on reinforced concrete abutments and wing walls. The structure has a 28-foot total structure length with a 25-foot clear span and a 21-foot curb-to-curb width. There's galvanized metal beam guide rail here as well, and a timber bridge rail. And average daily traffic here is only about 176 vehicles per day. We have some utilities here as well. Again, overhead electric, communication, and cable television are on the east side here. The deck here is in satisfactory condition with a rating of 6, as is the approach here as well. The wearing surface has some cracking as well as some active leakage. There's heavy sand buildup along the shoulder. The timber rail is also damaged, and there's areas of erosion with at the approaches that are filled with like various debris and everything. The superstructure is in satisfactory condition with a rating of 6. The deck units all have some longitudinal cracking. There's minor splitting at random locations, and there's some soft, punky wood at the edges of the units. There's also some active leakage and staining you can see between all of the units, and the joints between the units are also open, which is causing that leakage. The substructure is in poor condition with a rating of 4. There's severe undermining of the bridge abutment footings, and the abutments and wing walls also have spalls and cracks. There's also some pretty heavy debris buildup and heavy vegetation growth. The channel has a rating of 5 and scour is noted as 4. And like I said, there's some heavy undermining of the abutment footings, and there's really some good vegetation growth and debris all along the channel. We are looking at a full bridge replacement here as well, with ashtray concrete slab superstructure on abutments on rock. And this would consist of a 35-foot clear span on reinforced concrete abutments on rock. We'll have a 27.5-foot out-to-out width and a 24-foot curb-to-curb width, which consists of 10-foot travel lanes and 2-foot shoulders. We'll have open metal bridge rail on the bridge, and again, the membrane waterproofing and bituminous overlay. We'll have new approach slabs, roadway runoff, and guide rail that will be all up to standards. And again, we'll temporarily relocate all the utilities during construction. So looking again at the elevation view, you can see the proposed structure in gray, the railing in yellow, wing walls in pink, the new structure, the beams in orange, and then, yes, so that's it. The cross section here, again, you can see the slabs in orange. We have the railing in yellow, the deck in black, and then the the slab in gray. And last, again, the plan view. So it shows what is being affected in the area. The existing pavement you can see in gray, and then what's being reconstructed is in yellow. The wing walls are in pink, and then the proposed structure area is in orange. And again here, the profile really isn't changing at all here, so not much work there. We have some examples here as well. Both bridges look pretty similar. And then the detour. So we're looking at a 2.2 mile detour here, which would include Tracy Road, Westminster Road, Lisbon Road, Bennett Pond Road, and Cross Road. And anticipated permits for here, we're looking at the local inland wetland and then the Army Corps of Engineers here. Schedule and cost, again, we're looking at spring 2026 with 6 to 8 month duration. And then cost here would be $1,550,000. All right, that's it for me. Mark, you want to cover the right of way?
Sure, thanks, Andy. So Zach, unfortunately, cannot be here tonight, so I'm going to give a brief overview of the rights of way. The Division of Rights of Way is responsible for acquiring all property rights necessary for the project. They're bound by statutory references, Connecticut General Statute, Section 13A-73 and 13A-98E, and the Federal Uniform Relocation Assistance and Real Property Acquisition Properties Act of 1970 as amended. There could be any impacts to property, including partial acquisitions, easements, or rights, and these impacts are subject to change as design progresses. At some point, an agent will reach out to the impacted property owners to discuss the rights of way process in further detail. At this point, that's really all I can speak on. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I have been monitoring as of right now the email, the phone number, and the messaging, and there are no questions at this time.
Keep it open for a little bit in case anyone has a question that comes in. And we highly encourage you to access the project webpage. And if you think of a question that comes up after this meeting, you can email us at the contact information sheet or by phone.
I've never known people in Canterbury to be so not inquisitive. I mean, it's terrible English the way I just phrased that, but it's the best I have.
Know what you meant.
I want to ask, but I'm afraid to ask because I don't want to open. But do you? But I will anyways because there's no one else here. But do you anticipate any sort of issues with rights of way at this stage?
Andy, do you want to bring up a plan sheet?
Yeah, let me see. Let's see. I don't believe we're looking at any issues really with rights of way for most of them. Let me just, this is easier. So with the plan view here for 5413, I think the only problem here would be, I believe, the existing house here, more towards the north, but we're trying to avoid that at all costs. And then I believe the other bridge.
Andy, excuse me, Andy,
Yes.
excuse me. Before you get too far away from this, so go back to the house on the northeast corner, and it seems to me the minor impacts might be a little bit of grading and
Correct. Yes.
a little bit of the wing wall. So
Yeah, that's
the point being, the impacts are very slight.
Right. Yes.
And
Yeah.
just so we could blend the grading from the proposed grading into the existing. We could probably end it sooner, but when you give yourself a little room, it ends up a nicer look. And
yeah,
that's why
that
we
was
would
my
probably do something
takeaway.
there.
Looking at that was just you're looking at a little bit of the wing wall having some
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
impact there, but nothing significant.
Correct.
No, we're not looking at any significant changes to either project. For the other project, we were here, you can see we tried to avoid having to really do anything with this little access driveway to the south, southwest, and then the rest of it is really, nothing is really changing.
So negligible impact then. Okay.
Correct. Yes.
We have a participant with their hand up. I'm not sure if you can unmute that person or how to use that.
Sure.
If you could, if possible, if you have the capability to put it into the Q&A chat, you can answer your question there a little bit easier. No, it's Doug Dubitsky. Hi, Doug. Are any businesses going to be affected?
Yeah, so it looks like, so all the surrounding properties are very residential, so there shouldn't be any businesses that are affected whatsoever with these two projects. And also, actually, to reiterate that, any driveways or anything that are, you know, remotely close to the project areas will still be kept open at all times, so they'll have full access to driveways or anything like that.
Great. You're welcome. Great. Give it a couple more minutes in case there's any questions that come up. Again, I encourage you to visit the project webpage, develop the voluntary post meetings, post attendee survey as well. That'd be greatly appreciated.
And just to let you all know, I just checked in with our email and the phone line and have not seen any questions coming in through those routes.
Doug had another question in chat. He asked, will there be any public info sessions or is this it?
So generally this,
oh, go ahead,
yes,
Andy.
go ahead,
Sorry.
Mark. Generally, this
Go
would be it. But yes, I mean, we're always available for questions, you know, to help out with any understanding that the public would need.
Yeah, in which case I'll get a soft commitment from you if we have some sort of interest from the community after this. We can arrange another presentation.
We could, for sure.
Yes.
There's a
Okay.
significant, and at any milestone too, at the major milestone submissions, we'll provide the town with a set of plans and whatnot. So that way, if people come in and ask questions, they can reach out to you and you have an updated set. And, you know, if we need to come out and meet with anybody, we're available to do that as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
Will there be any blasting?
I hope so.
Generally,
some fun out of this.
Generally demolition of the structure will be done with cranes, large demolition hammers, things of that nature. Normally we don't usually blast rock. There could be some rock excavation if we have to expose competent bedrock, something of that nature, but generally they shy away from blasting. This is the weekly work schedule. They'll usually. The contractor will adhere to normal operations, so if the town has any time restrictions, but generally it'll be like a 8 to 5 kind of window, I would say, for construction. Not usually, night work tends to not be a thing. Weekend work would need to be through permission of the town. Holidays, if the town has any moratoriums on construction during holidays, they would have to adhere to that as well. But it's standard, 8-hour shifts. Is DOT doing the work or is DOT doing the work or is it being contracted out? So the town will be holding the construction contract and they will solicit bids for a bidder. For a contractor, and the contractor, the lowest responsive bid will be the one who will be performing the work. And then the town will also solicit for a construction inspection firm to oversee them. So they will act as an agent of the town. So it'll be contracted out through the town. Inspector on site full-time. Yes, there will be a full-time inspector whenever the contractor is operating or performing operations. He will be out there for the shifts. Thank you. You're welcome. I think with that, I believe we can conclude this meeting. If anyone has any other questions, please feel free to reach out and we'll answer them as soon as possible.
Well, gentlemen, thank you, and look forward to working with you on this.
Likewise, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Good night.
Good
Okay,
night,
good night,
everybody.
everyone.
All right, thank you.